everyone, welcome back to another video. So I know I said at the ending of my last video that I wouldn't be able to post weekly as much, but I am gonna try to upload as much as I can. March is gonna be a very busy month for me. I have midterms coming up and a couple friends coming from my old school, so I do want to make time to hang out with them, and also I do obviously want to make time to study, so I probably won't have as much time as I want to film, so you're gonna probably not get a video every single week this month, but again, I'll do my best. February was a really good reading month, not in quantity but in quality. Almost every single book was a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I only read 5 books this month, but compared to January I had read 12 books, but the beginning of my January reading month didn't go the best. I didn't fall in love with most of the books I had read. Some were really great, but then near the beginning of the month I was really struggling to find a book that I loved, even though I read so many. That's probably why I kept reading so many, because I wanted to find a book that I really liked. Yeah, beginning of the year didn't go as well for me when it came to like books I was in love with, but this month it went great when it came to that. And so I'm going to be talking about the 5 books I read in February. I completed 2 series, one that I started in January, and so I carried that series on to February, and then the last series I just started this month and I finished so quickly. It was so good. Before I do get into my February wrap up, can I just say something really random? I got the sudden urge to watch Marvel's Eternals. Yeah, I know, it's so weird. I just saw this clip online and I'm just like, that doesn't look too bad. What the hell is this? And I find out it's Eternals by Marvel. I've heard so many complaints about that movie for some reason because of that one sex scene that's in the movie, even though it was literally like 10 seconds. People were complaining about that one sex scene in this movie, and so I just thought, oh, okay, it's probably not that good. I won't watch it. And then I ended up seeing one clip online, got the urge to watch it, then I watched it, and honestly, I kind of loved it, but it's mostly because of this one couple, Druig and Makari. They only had like 5 scenes in this entire movie together, but I absolutely loved them. But yeah, sorry for rambling. Let's carry on to my February wrap-up. So the first book I have on here is A Gathering of Shadows, book 2 in the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. I rated this book a 5 out of 5. It was the best book in the series. Yeah, normally I'm surprised because normally the second book in like series are kind of like a political setup, and in a way this was definitely political setup, but it was honestly the best book in the series in my opinion, because this is when like the subplot romance peaked for me. Oh my god, yeah, the subplot romance in here was so good. Lila and Kel, I was absolutely obsessed with them in this book. I ate up every single scene in that book. This entire book, Lila and Kel both had secret identities, and near the end of the first book, Lila went off on her own little journey, and so this whole entire second book is kind of like a will they won't they situation of whether they'll reunite or not. They didn't reunite until like maybe halfway into the book, and this book is like 500 pages, so the fact that it took like over 250 pages just for them to meet up again, honestly, I loved it, because it was kind of like them realizing they fell more for each other than they thought they did. When they reunited, it was so worth it. I was screaming the entire time I read that ballroom scene and the balcony scene and every single scene afterwards. But yeah, 5 out of 5 for the second book, the best book in the series by far in my opinion. Okay, next book we have on here is A Conjuring of Light, which is book 3 in the Shades of Magic series. I rated this one slightly less than the second book. I rated it a 4.75 out of 5. Again, it was really good. The thing is, the whole entire time I read this book, before I even read it, I thought it was gonna be a 5-star read, and then I got into it and I started thinking, oh, this is kind of on the same level of the first book. The first book I rated a 4.25, and so this entire time I thought I was gonna rate this third book a 4.25 until I read the ending, and the ending completely changed it for me. I don't know how many of you guys are like too familiar with V.E. Schwab books, but literally all of the YA books I've read by V.E. Schwab, YA, that's kind of surprising, but most have like kind of tragic endings, and so the fact that this ending right here made me so happy, that's the reason why I rated 4.75 out of 5. I'm not against tragic endings. If I'm being honest, I'm one of those people who actually like tragic endings sometimes. Like, it does kind of get tiring when every single book has like a really happy ending, and so tragic endings are kind of like a breath of fresh air sometimes, even though again they may be sad, they might make you angry, but yeah, it is kind of nice reading a tragic ending now and then, and that's why I think V.E. Schwab became like one of my favorite fantasy authors, because she wasn't afraid to give us a tragic ending. If she wants to kill off a character, she'll kill off a character. I don't think she's scared to. I don't really think she cares. But yeah, this third book was kind of surprising. Like, it gave me a happy ending. I was really happy when when I got to that ending too, I felt happy. Yeah, it was just really different from the endings I've normally read by them. So I gave it a 4.75 out of 5 for that reason, because it just surprised me, if I'm being honest. The one thing I'd have to say about this book that didn't make me give it a 5 out of 5 was like the final fight scene. It was a bit underwhelming. I kind of expected more out of that final fight scene, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just comparing it to the other books she's written, but my heart wasn't pounding as much as like the other books I've read by them. Yeah, I don't know, underwhelming. That's really all I have to say. It was still really good, 4.75 out of 5, mostly because of the ending. To rate the entire series, like the entire trilogy, I think I'd have to give it like a 4.75, like the entire series. Yeah, it was really good. I wouldn't call it like the most perfect series in the world, but I genuinely enjoyed it. Got to love most of the characters, even the ones you think you might hate in the beginning. V. Schwab is genuinely my favorite fantasy author, and I will now buy anything they release. Next book we have on here is, oh my god, this trilogy is so good. I am absolutely obsessed. I've been thinking about it for like the past week. It's crazy. Yeah, but it's The Foxhole Court, which is book 1 in the All for the Game series by Nora Sakovic, and I rated it a 5 out of 5. It was so much better than I thought it was gonna be. In no way is the All for the Game series good books, but they also are good books in a way. I don't know how to explain it. This series is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. Not really. I'll shout it from the rooftop if I want to, but kind of. If you think of it that way, this is what the series is. It's genuinely just a guilty pleasure of anyone who likes it. Not really. I'm not that ashamed that I like the series, if I'm being honest. I was before, and then I thought about it a bit more, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna talk about it. I like it. This book isn't a sports romance. Don't dive in thinking it's a sports romance. If you like romance, I'm not sure you'll like this book. There are some very toxic things that happen in this first book, and also the language that's used. Do check trigger warnings, because there are a lot of things that happen in this book. Do read trigger warnings, please. Like, please, I beg you. If there's a chance you even want to get into this series, read trigger warnings, because I didn't know how bad some things were gonna be until I actually read it. Thankfully, I have nothing that triggers me. I haven't found anything that triggers me. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what to say. I'm still thinking about these books. I have All for the Game series hangover. Like, these are drugs. These books are drugs. I am absolutely obsessed with these books. It's gonna take me a while to find something I'm just as obsessed with. I am scouring. I am searching. I'm like digging through piles here. It's just like I'm trying to find books that I'm just as obsessed with, and so I've gone into like this rabbit hole that I never wanted to go into. But now I'm happy that I'm here. So The Foxhole Court is about this guy named Neil. He's on the run. He's a runaway, and he really likes this sport called Exy, and so he tries to spend like the last year of his life playing a sport he really loves. Exy is like this made-up sport that literally doesn't exist. It's like a mix of lacrosse and rugby, or is it soccer? I don't know. I got so invested in this sport, and oh my god, the subplot romance is literally the best thing I ever read in my life. And also, you grow to love these characters so much. I am not kidding you. Like, some of them you'll genuinely hate in the first book, and then you grow to love them over time. This thing was just a bus that hit me. It was a bus that randomly ran me over. I did not expect it to, and I did not expect to love this. Anyways, carrying on to the rest of the series, The Raven King, the second book in this series by Nora Sakovic, 5 out of 5 again. So good. Oh my god. The romance just gets better. I know the romance is literally the last thing I should be talking about when it comes to these books, because there's so much that happens in these books, but it was so good. Oh my god. I was freaking out every single scene I read about them. And also the found family that like develops throughout these books is actually really good. Like, I was not expecting found family. I know it's a sports sort of thing, and I know with like books that have sports in them, there's normally a found family trope, but with these books, I really didn't expect it. For some reason, it was honestly the last thing I expected, and yet the found family was also really good. The way they had each other's backs, I loved. I was so happy every single time like one of them like defended each other and like supported each other. It was great. Also, from the first book, you really don't know who Neil's love interest is going to be. You kind of get a feeling that's going to be someone. I got the feeling. I definitely got it. Then the second book, you kind of get an even bigger hint on who it's going to be, and I love them. Oh my god. I know I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to be so annoying. Again, Foxhole Court hangover, or like All for the Game series hangover, but yeah, I don't know. The Raven King, things got even crazier. Things just keep getting crazier and crazier every single book. It's wild. Honestly, I don't know what Nora Sakovic is going to do with book 3.5, and especially book 4, because book 4 features like a new main character. I don't know if we're going to get multiple POVs in that book, and if we're going to get the foxes. I hope so, but I don't know. I really can't wait to see what Nora Sakovic does with that 4th book. Okay, last book in the series, The King's Men, and it's book 3, 5 out of 5 again. Entire series in total, 6 out of 5, 100 out of 5, infinity out of 5. I absolutely fell in love with this series. The Kingsman, oh my god. I'd have to say The Raven King out of all these books is probably the most tragic, but this third book is probably equally as tragic. Like, the things that happen here drove me mad. Honestly, it was just crazy. And the romance, oh my god, the romance. Normally, I don't like it when couples get together, and so in this book, they don't get together, but they're sort of together. I don't know, I love them even more in this book. It was just every single book, I kept loving the couple more and more, and it just made me so happy for some reason, despite the fact that there are so many tragic things that happen in these books. Yeah, honestly, the All for the Game series has probably become like one of my new favorite series, if not my favorite series, honestly. It was so good. This month in reading was so good. I was so happy with every single one of these books that I read. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for a while until I find like a book that I'm just as obsessed with as I was with the All for the Game series. This definitely gives me like a new perspective on how I'm gonna rate every single book I read from now on, because these books, this entire trilogy was absolutely a 5 out of 5. Like, no questions asked. I did not hesitate whatsoever to give it a 5 out of 5 after I finished reading it. And so it's given me like an entirely new way of thinking on how I'm gonna rate my books from now on. But yeah, that's all for today. Again, this month, love this month. If you could not tell, absolutely obsessed with every single one of these books, especially the All for the Game series. I know I keep repeating it, but again, Hangover. I have All for the Game series Hangover. It's crazy how much I've been thinking about these books, these characters, and like the subplot romance. I think I've been driving like my friends and my cousin crazy because this is all I've been talking about, like literally. Every single time I text them about a book, it's just like, oh my god, I can't get over the All for the Game series. And they've been saying I've gone crazy, and I have. I absolutely have. This series was the best thing that happened to me. I will cut off my left arm just to get that 3.5 and 4th book. I really hope the 3.5 book though is gonna be about the foxes, but I won't hope too much because I really don't know what's coming. But the 4th book I know is a new main character, so I really hope there's a really good chance of that 3.5 book being about the foxes, but if not, still gonna read it either way. I want all of like the All for the Game series content I can get. I've been searching up so much fan art too. Like immediately after I finished that 3rd book, I was just staring into space. I was just thinking, oh my god, what am I gonna do now? Like, there's literally no way anything can top this. And so I immediately went on social media and I started searching up fan art. But again, yeah, that's all. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, I kept going off on like very large tangents. Hope you enjoyed and hope to see you in the next one. Yeah, again, sorry if I don't post as much as I normally do. I'll do my best. Again, gonna be very busy this month, and so probably won't have too much time. But yeah, bye.